Imagine this. You're in a relationship where you constantly go out of your way to please your partner, sacrificing your own values, desires, and well-being in the process. You try to make them happy, but deep down, you feel drained, disrespected, and unsure of who you are anymore. Have you ever felt like this? Like you're giving so much of yourself, but receiving little in return? Maybe you've been there, trying to keep the peace, avoiding conflict, or bending over backward to meet the needs of your partner, only to find that you've lost touch with your own sense of self-respect. If you've experienced this, you're not alone. It's easy to lose sight of your worth in a relationship, especially when you feel the pressure to keep things going at any cost. But what if there was a way to navigate relationships that allowed you to maintain your self-respect while also fostering a healthy, balanced connection with others? In this video, we're going to dive into an ancient philosophy called Stoicism. This might sound like a relic of the past, but trust me, it's more relevant now than ever when it comes to modern relationships. Stoicism teaches us how to regain control over our emotions, value ourselves without needing validation from others, and build relationships based on mutual respect and independence. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or avoiding conflict. It's about developing the emotional maturity and rational thought to handle relationships in a way that doesn't cost you your dignity. At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us to focus on what's within our control and to accept what's not. The Stoics believed that we should cultivate virtue, emotional regulation, and wisdom, principles that can be applied directly to relationships. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but about learning to respond to them thoughtfully without letting them control us. It's about understanding that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we react, what we tolerate, and how we respect ourselves. In the context of relationships, Stoicism can help us build healthier, more grounded connections by fostering emotional maturity, teaching us how to communicate better, and encouraging us to maintain independence while still being present for our partners. It emphasizes that self-respect should never be sacrificed for the sake of another person, and that true love comes from mutual respect and understanding, not from people-pleasing or codependency. So why should you care about Stoicism in your relationships? The truth is, many of us fall into patterns of unhealthy behavior because we're unsure of how to set boundaries or how to maintain our self-worth in the face of conflict or challenges. This video aims to offer actionable Stoic wisdom that can help you avoid these traps. We'll explore how you can reclaim your self-respect, build stronger, more balanced relationships, and find the emotional resilience to face difficult situations with clarity and strength. Ultimately, the goal isn't just to survive in relationships, it's to thrive. By applying Stoic principles, you can cultivate a sense of independence, confidence, and self-respect that makes you a better partner without losing yourself in the process. Let's dive in and discover how to build healthier relationships through the wisdom of Stoicism. In relationships, it's easy to slip into patterns where you constantly bend over backward to please your partner. The desire to show love, support, and care can sometimes lead us down a path where we compromise our own values, boundaries, and self-respect. But while showing affection and being a supportive partner is essential, there are certain things you should never do for a woman, or anyone really, if you want to preserve your self-worth, maintain a healthy balance, and encourage mutual growth. In this section, we'll dive into key behaviors that can undermine your relationship and your own emotional well-being. First, it's important to clarify that this isn't about rejecting love, care, or intimacy. This advice doesn't suggest that you should stop being thoughtful, kind, or loving toward your partner. Quite the opposite. What we're aiming for is healthy, balanced relationships where both individuals thrive, where love and support flow freely, but not at the expense of your own identity and self-respect. Often, we get caught up in the idea of doing everything for someone because we think it'll make them happy or deepen the bond. But what happens when you give too much of yourself? You risk becoming emotionally drained, losing sight of your own needs, and unintentionally creating a dynamic where one partner becomes overly reliant on the other. This type of codependency can be toxic, leading to resentment, frustration, and the breakdown of the relationship. The key to a healthy, thriving relationship is mutual respect and independence. Both partners should feel valued, supported, and encouraged to grow individually while also growing together. The goal here is to ensure that neither person is sacrificing their self-respect, emotional well-being, or sense of autonomy in the relationship. So, in the following sections, we'll explore specific behaviors to avoid, things that might seem like acts of love or care, but can ultimately undermine your relationship and sense of self. Remember, the advice here is about maintaining your dignity, setting healthy boundaries, and creating an environment where both you and your partner can thrive. If you find yourself repeatedly giving in to these behaviors, it's a sign to step back, reassess, and prioritize your own well-being. The healthiest relationships are those where both partners are strong, self-respecting individuals who come together to share love and grow as a team, not codependent people who lose themselves in the process. So, let's take a look at the first key behaviors that you should avoid in a relationship if you want to preserve your self-respect and avoid unhealthy dynamics. Imagine this scenario. You surprise your partner with a beautiful bouquet of flowers, thinking it's the perfect gesture, only to find out that she's long since changed her taste in flowers. She doesn't even like them anymore, and your kind gesture falls flat. The assumption that you knew her preferences without checking in led to a misstep, even though your intentions were good. This is a situation that happens often in relationships, where we think we understand our partner's wants and needs without asking or checking in regularly. In Stoicism, Epictetus teaches that we cannot control what others think or feel, but we can control our own perceptions and actions. This applies directly to relationships. Instead of assuming your partner's preferences or desires, it's important to remember that both you and your partner evolve over time. What they liked yesterday might not be true today. In his teachings, Epictetus encourages us to let go of our assumptions and focus on the things we can control, our actions and our responses. The key takeaway here is the importance of open, honest communication. Rather than guessing or assuming, take the time to ask your partner about their preferences, needs, and feelings. You might be surprised at how much you can learn simply by listening. Active communication will help you better understand your partner's evolving desires and avoid unnecessary missteps that can stem from assumptions. It's essential to foster a relationship where both parties feel heard, understood, and valued for who they are now, not just who they were. A simple, actionable change you can make is to embrace direct communication. Ask questions, check in, and actively listen. Create space for open dialogue where both of you feel safe expressing changes in preferences, emotions, or needs. This way, you're not only demonstrating care and attentiveness, but also allowing the relationship to grow and evolve naturally. There's a common belief that silence can sometimes be the best way to keep the peace. If your partner is upset or sharing something important, you might think, if I don't say anything, it will blow over. Or, I'll just avoid the conversation to avoid conflict. This approach, however, can have the opposite effect, leaving your partner feeling unheard and unresolved feelings festering in silence. In Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius often reflects on the importance of fostering openness and attentiveness. To truly live with virtue, we need to be present, engaged, and aware of our own emotions and the emotions of others. Ignoring communication or shutting down emotionally can disrupt this connection, ultimately creating distance between partners. Active listening is a key practice in Stoicism when it comes to handling emotions. Rather than withdrawing or assuming you know what's going on in your partner's mind, take the time to listen with empathy. In the spirit of Marcus Aurelius, make the effort to understand your partner's emotional state and the reasoning behind their feelings. Listening with the intent to understand, not to respond, can create an atmosphere of trust, openness, and mutual respect. Actionable advice here includes eliminating distractions when your partner wants to share something, like putting down your phone, turning off the TV, and giving them your undivided attention. Practice empathy by acknowledging their feelings without judgment. Even if you don't agree with their perspective, make sure they feel heard and avoid minimizing their emotions. Communication isn't just about speaking, it's about listening and understanding, especially when difficult conversations arise. In relationships, we often feel the need to shield our partner from hardship or pain. You might find yourself trying to rescue your partner from challenges, believing it's your role to protect them from failure or disappointment. However, overprotectiveness can prevent them from growing, learning, and building resilience. Stoicism teaches us about the dangers of fear-based decisions. Seneca, in his writings, discusses the importance of accepting difficulty as part of life. He compares growth to the butterfly's struggle. A butterfly that is allowed to emerge from its cocoon without struggle is weak and unable to survive. It is through overcoming challenges that we build strength and resilience. Rather than overprotecting your partner, encourage them to face challenges and make their own decisions. Support them without stepping in to fix everything. This allows both of you to grow individually and as a couple. The Stoic principle of control reminds us that we cannot control everything, especially not the struggles our partner may face, but we can support them in navigating those struggles with confidence and independence. Actionable advice for avoiding overprotectiveness includes giving your partner space to make their own decisions and offering encouragement rather than taking over. Empower them to face challenges head-on while you provide a loving, supportive presence. Many times we feel the urge to go above and beyond, doing grand gestures or sacrificing our own needs in an attempt to win approval or affection from our partner. Maybe you surprise her with lavish gifts or go out of your way to do things you think she'll appreciate, but over time, this can create an imbalance where you're constantly giving more than you receive, and she might start expecting these gestures as a baseline. Marcus Aurelius, in his reflections, speaks about finding self-worth from within, not from external validation. When we constantly seek validation through grand gestures or overcompensating to please, we risk losing ourselves in the process. Healthy relationships should be grounded in mutual respect and authenticity, not in trying to win someone over by doing more than is necessary. Rather than overcompensating, focus on authenticity. Be honest about your feelings and needs, and encourage your partner to do the same. Offer small, meaningful gestures of love that come from a place of genuine care rather than from the need to impress or seek approval. Build a relationship based on mutual respect, where both partners feel valued simply for who they are, not for what they do or give. Actionable advice here includes setting healthy boundaries and learning how to express love and affection without going overboard. Recognize that your partner's love for you shouldn't hinge on grand displays, but rather on shared experiences, mutual respect, and a healthy connection. Sometimes, in an effort to keep the peace, you might agree with your partner even when it goes against your core beliefs. You might think, it's easier to just agree than to have a disagreement. While compromise is important in relationships, compromising on your core values can lead to resentment and self-doubt. The Stoic principle of virtue teaches us to remain firm in our values and integrity. Epictetus, in his teachings, highlights the importance of maintaining our character even in the face of external pressure. Our values are the foundation of who we are, and abandoning them for the sake of harmony undermines our sense of self-respect. Encourage respectful disagreement. It's possible to maintain your integrity and still engage in open, productive conversations with your partner. You don't have to agree on everything, and that's okay. What matters is that both of you maintain your individuality and that your values are respected, even when there are differences. Actionable advice includes practicing assertive communication. Express your beliefs clearly and respectfully, and be willing to listen to your partner's point of view. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, even in moments of disagreement. It's easy to put your own goals and personal growth on hold when you're focused on supporting your partner's success or needs. You might think that putting everything aside for your partner is a sign of love or sacrifice, but neglecting your own growth can leave you feeling unfulfilled and resentful over time. Stoicism emphasizes self-reliance and personal development. Seneca's teachings remind us that life is about continual growth and self-improvement. Your partner's success should not come at the expense of your own dreams and ambitions. A healthy relationship should encourage both individuals to grow and thrive, supporting each other's personal goals along the way. Promote balance in your life. Support your partner's success, but also make time to invest in your own growth. Pursue your passions, set your own goals, and cultivate a life outside of the relationship that fulfills you. Actionable advice here is to regularly check in with yourself. Are you neglecting your own dreams? Make sure you set aside time for personal growth, whether it's pursuing a hobby, career advancement, or self-care. A thriving relationship is made up of two individuals who are growing together. Sometimes, out of love or a desire to protect, we let bad habits or unhealthy behaviors slide, thinking it's our responsibility to fix them. This might seem like a loving gesture, but it can actually reinforce negative behaviors and prevent growth. Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for our own actions and that we shouldn't enable unhealthy patterns in ourselves or others. Personal responsibility is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. Enabling bad habits in a relationship can prevent your partner from addressing their own issues and growing as an individual. Encourage positive change by setting boundaries and supporting your partner in making better choices. Hold them accountable without enabling destructive behaviors. It's important to strike a balance between offering support and encouraging responsibility for their own actions. Actionable advice includes addressing issues early, setting clear boundaries, and offering constructive feedback. Encourage your partner to take responsibility for their own growth and work together toward healthier habits in the relationship. In navigating relationships, it can be easy to fall into patterns of emotional reactivity or unhealthy dependence. However, applying Stoic wisdom to relationships offers a powerful approach to building healthy, grounded connections based on self-respect, mutual understanding, and emotional maturity. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emphasizes rationality, self-control, and virtue, provides practical tools for managing emotions and fostering meaningful, balanced relationships. One of the core principles of Stoicism is personal accountability. In relationships, this translates to taking responsibility for our own actions, decisions, and emotional reactions, rather than blaming others or external circumstances for our feelings. Stoics believe that we cannot control everything that happens around us, but we always have control over how we respond. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, frequently reflected on the importance of maintaining a calm and steady mind, especially in the face of adversity. In Meditations, he writes about the importance of self-discipline and rational thinking, emphasizing that we are not our emotions, but the rational beings who decide how to act in response to them. This principle is essential in relationships. When conflicts arise or emotions run high, it's important to practice self-control and avoid impulsive reactions. Instead of reacting with frustration, anger, or defensiveness, we can take a step back, reflect, and choose our response based on reason and clarity, rather than emotion. In a relationship, this means being mindful of your emotional reactions. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, but Stoicism encourages us to take a pause, breathe, and think before responding. Rather than blaming your partner for how you feel, take ownership of your emotions and explore why you feel the way you do. This practice of emotional self-regulation fosters healthier, more thoughtful interactions, allowing both partners to communicate more effectively and resolve conflicts with greater understanding and empathy. The foundation of any healthy relationship is mutual respect. Stoicism teaches us that respect should be rooted in recognizing the inherent dignity and autonomy of each person. Both partners in a relationship must maintain their individuality and self-respect, and neither should sacrifice their values, goals, or boundaries to please the other. In his writings, Epictetus frequently emphasizes the importance of maintaining integrity and virtue, regardless of external circumstances. In a relationship, this means that each person should respect the other's values, beliefs, and choices. A relationship built on mutual respect allows both partners to thrive as individuals, not just as a couple. It's crucial to honor each other's differences, opinions, and emotional needs, understanding that both partners are equal, autonomous beings with their own paths to follow. Respecting one another also means avoiding the temptation to control or manipulate. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel free to express themselves without fear of judgment or domination. This doesn't mean that disagreements won't arise, but it does mean that both people are treated with dignity, even in moments of conflict. The Stoic principle of recognizing the limitations of others' control over us also teaches us that we cannot change our partner's behavior or emotions, but we can control how we interact and respond with respect and understanding. Independence, both emotional and personal, is another key principle in Stoic philosophy that is vital for healthy relationships. Stoicism teaches that our happiness and well-being should not be dependent on anyone else. While relationships provide love, support, and companionship, they should not be the sole source of our emotional fulfillment or identity. Epictetus's teachings emphasize that we should not let external factors, including other people, dictate our sense of self-worth. In relationships, this means fostering emotional autonomy. It's essential for both partners to maintain their own sense of identity, pursue their individual passions, and continue their personal growth independent of the relationship. Emotional dependence, where one partner relies too heavily on the other for validation, security, or happiness, can lead to unhealthy dynamics and create pressure on both individuals. Encouraging emotional independence within a relationship allows both partners to thrive as individuals. It also helps prevent codependency, where one partner may sacrifice their own needs or sense of self in favor of the other. By maintaining a strong sense of individuality, each partner can offer their best selves to the relationship without losing who they are in the process. The Stoic idea of focusing on what is within our control reminds us that our emotional well-being comes from within, not from external sources. When we cultivate inner peace and self-sufficiency, we are better able to show up as balanced and loving partners rather than relying on others to fulfill unmet needs. Self-reflection is a central practice in Stoicism, and it plays a critical role in healthy relationships. The Stoics believed that self-awareness and continuous improvement were essential for living virtuously. In relationships, self-reflection helps us understand our own behavior, uncover areas for personal growth, and ensure that we are showing up authentically and thoughtfully. The practice of self-reflection can be incredibly valuable in maintaining a healthy relationship. Regularly taking time to reflect on your actions, thoughts, and emotional responses allows you to identify patterns that may be harmful or unproductive. By regularly evaluating how you contribute to the relationship, whether through communication, emotional reactions, or actions, you can identify opportunities for growth and make positive changes. One powerful way to engage in self-reflection is through journaling or meditation. These Stoic practices encourage clarity and introspection, helping you maintain peace of mind and a clear perspective. Journaling can be particularly helpful for working through emotions, understanding underlying feelings, and gaining insight into the dynamics of your relationship. Taking a few minutes each day to write about your thoughts and experiences can help you process conflicts, assess your behavior, and make conscious efforts to improve. Similarly, meditation or mindfulness practices allow you to center yourself and approach your relationship with a calm and steady mind. By regularly engaging in these practices, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and emotional clarity that enhances your communication, patience, and empathy in relationships. Actionable advice here includes setting aside time for daily or weekly reflection. Use journaling as a tool to process any challenges or emotions you're experiencing, and engage in mindfulness exercises to stay present and centered. Self-reflection encourages growth and understanding, not just of yourself, but of your partner and your relationship as a whole. Stoicism provides a framework for building healthy, resilient relationships based on self-respect, mutual understanding, and emotional maturity. By embracing personal accountability, mutual respect, and independence, and by incorporating self-reflection practices into our lives, we can cultivate relationships that allow both partners to grow, thrive, and support one another in a balanced, loving way. The Stoic approach to relationships emphasizes emotional regulation, clear communication, and authenticity, offering valuable wisdom for navigating the complexities of love and connection.